Hi everyone, welcome back to the next part of our Laravel series here. So in the last part we fixed the validation, and in general we're now able to create posts and you can see them in the database if you remember that. So if I have a look at my database, here are the posts I already created. Well, that is good, but it would be nice to actually see them in on our dashboard here. We're going to take care about this in this video. So the place to start is the user controller. Here is where we're getting our dashboard. Now, we might load it in the user controller, but in my opinion, it would better fit in the post controller because our dashboard is really all about posts. Therefore, I'm going to cut this function here and insert it in the post controller. Obviously, I then have to adjust my route here in the routes file, where I no longer route to user controller, but instead to the post controller. Now this should work again, and we can try this by just reloading this page. Yeah, so this is working. Next thing is, I want to be able to render the real posts here where I have my dummy posts as of now. In order to be able to do that, I need to load or to get the posts first. I do this in the post controller and in my, get dashboard function. Here, before I'm returning the view, I somehow have to fetch my posts. Now that is really easy. I'll just create a variable which I call posts, and then I will access my post model, which I'm already using in this file here. And I will just call the all method. Now let me zoom in a bit. What this all method does on this post model is, basically fetch all posts. This is how we can build queries through our model, so to say. And this is a very simple query, obviously, where we just get, all the elements in the database. Now we can create much more complex queries, and we will see this later in the series, but for now, fetching all the posts is just fine. Now that I got my posts here, I just want to pass them to the view. I do this by adding a second argument to this return view function here, and this second argument takes an array. Now in this array, I'm able to specify all the variables which I want to pass into the view so that I'm able to use them in the view. In this case, I want to have a posts variable in the view where I can access all my posts. And what will I pass to that variable? Well, my posts variable I got here, which, contains all my posts. So now I'm making the posts I'm fetching here available in my view. Therefore, in my view, in my dashboard.blade file here, I'm now able to use this posts variable as if it were created in this file here. So here, where I do have my dummy posts, I will no longer output this dummy post, but I will enter a for each loop here. So add for each. And here I will just loop through all the posts. And remember, I said we can use it like a variable we declared in this file. So I just write $posts as post to loop through all my posts. Now it's very important that this name here, $posts, equals the name you specify here when creating this variable. Now obviously here the $sign is missing, that is automatically added because that is how variables are defined in PHP, but the name has to be equal to the one here in the array. Now in my dashboard file I can now loop through all those posts, and I will close this for each loop here. And inside this for each loop I want to output my article element here. So I'm going to get rid of the second one here, which was a dummy anyway. And now let me save this and reload the view here. Now as you can see, we got 3 dummy articles, even though, we only have one here. That is because the looping works. Now obviously we're not seeing our post content because all the content here in this article is still the dummy text. But the fact that we're seeing it 3 times here and that we're having 3 posts in our database, in this case here, means that it is working, that it is successfully looping through all this. Oops, navigate back. So it seems to work that it fetches the posts and that it loops through the posts. Now let's output the content of the post, shall we? Well, this is very easy indeed. Here I will just output the body of the post. So let me just have a look in my migration file. I think I called it body. Yeah. So therefore I will enter my blade expression here with double curly braces and then just access post body. So I'm accessing the database field body like a property of, well, the post object. This is all the magic Laravel does for us. We can access data this easy. So I think that is really awesome. And I might also access the author. And now back in our database, remember we got our posts here and our users in another table. So I want to output the first name that is specified here. Now to be able to do that, I will again enter my blade expression and then post. But now what? In my posts table here, I don't have the author name. I just have the ID of the user. Now we set up this relation and therefore I can access my users or my user like a property of this post. This user property here is defined in our post PHP file in the model file here. Here we're creating this user function and we can access this, well, the same name like a property to fetch the actual user. So we're not using the function here, which would hand us back a part of a query builder, which would allow us to query the database and make a more complex transaction. But instead, we're directly querying the user, which is stored as a property of our post, also automatically by Laravel. Therefore, I can just access the user here and then access, well, the first name field. Now let me save this and reload. And as you can see, this is working. I'm now seeing all my post bodies here, and those happen to be test, and another test, and posted by Max. Now if I have a look at my database, we see all posts were created by a user with the ID 4, and if I look in the users table, well, we see that 4 is indeed Max. Now the date is obviously still wrong, so let's fix that. I can output this in my blade expression here too by just accessing post created at. Save this and reload. And now we're seeing the date. Now this is a bit ugly formatted, right? And you can reformat that, but I'm not going to focus on that right now. The main point is that we're now successfully outputting all our posts with all the data we have attached to our posts. And you saw how easy that was, right? So that is a really powerful thing we got here going. And we will continue in the next video with being able to, well, delete posts through these buttons here. See you there. Bye.